I'd like to welcome everybody to the bell ceremony! Before we get started with actually giving the awards out, I would like, Mr. Shipley has a few awards that he would like to give out, and then I'll go ahead and explain the ranking system and what all that stuff is. Okay, so Mr. Shipley, the floor is yours.
Are the Burgesses here? I didn't see because I came in a little bit late. No? Oh my, is Mr. Eddie here? No? Oh my gosh. Is Larry here? Larry, I see your hand. Very good. Okay. Well, I started this last testing, and my students and myself, we really honor those tenets: courtesy, integrity, perseverance, self-control, and indomitable spirit. Well, I'm not sure. Miss Stephanie, did Mr. Eddie, is he
supposed to be here? Yes, sir.
Supposed to be here. Okay. Well, you guys can applaud, even though they're not here. The first one that we're going to give out is for courtesy. I know you guys don't know a lot of my students because we're all the way down in Claremont. But the first one I have is little Miss Courtney Burgess. Courtney's not here, so give her some hand. Yay! Courtney's actually going to receive a trophy that's got her name on it for courtesy. Because Courtney is just, yes sir, Mr. Shipley, yes sir, it's just, the manners just drip off this little girl, and I think she's all 7 or 8 years old, and she didn't come to class and then learn those. She came into class with those manners, and it's always a yes sir, no sir, or a yes ma'am, no ma'am. Miss Stephanie's teaching, and so she's going to have a really cool trophy whenever we see her next. The next one is actually going to be for integrity, and the integrity, and you guys are going to kind of snicker about this, but integrity is going to actually go to her dad. Mr. Burgess is just one of the most upright men I have ever met in my entire life. He's also going to get a trophy that says integrity, Jason Burgess on it, and absolutely phenomenal man. If you guys ever met him, you would probably instantaneously make him your new best friend because he just exudes that type of aura about him. You step in, you're like, wow, there's something about this guy that's just really cool. And he instills those values into his children he had, actually, without knowing about before we ever started taking martial arts with us. And the other one, you guys were here at testing. The next one, perseverance. Mr. Burgess's youngest daughter, who just turned 6, Lexi, freezes at everything. Time? Oh, come here, come here, come here! Quick, baby, show! We were just talking about you. Courtney, come on, Brad, give Courtney some of the all the nice things I said about Courtney. Courtney's getting an award, a trophy for courtesy. Okay? Because every time you're in class, my dear, it's yes sir, no sir. Oh, yes ma'am, no ma'am. And you didn't come to class and we had to teach you those things. You came to class with those values already instilled inside of you. And so now you gotta forgive me because UPS did not come to the house today. No, it did not. But your trophy should be here like tomorrow, I would imagine. But you have a really cool trophy, it's just like this, that says Courtney Burgess, courtesy, CF Mac, February 2009. That's awesome. Give her some. Mr. Burgess, you also received a trophy, and your trophy is for integrity. You teach your children the morals and values that we instill in our kids in martial arts, and you do that before they ever come to class, before they ever start taking martial arts with me. And that says something. And you can see your children when you look at them, you watch them, and you watch how much they love you and how much you guys interact, not just with you, but with everybody else, and how well they treat people. That says something about a parent. And the measure of a man is how they impact other people's lives. and not just their own children, but how they impact in a positive aspect other people's lives. And those people's lives will be changed forever, just like Master Wayne has changed all of our lives, and because of his mom and dad and their commitment, you are also impacting not just your daughter's lives, but the other people around you, and that is commendable, sir. Lexi Burgess, come on, front, Lexi! Okay, now Lexi was terrified at testing, weren't you? Yes, you were. Matter of fact, I told Master Wayne, Master Wayne said, I've got a student, and she's probably going to melt as soon as she gets on the floor. And it's okay, it's all right, it's okay. Listen, there have been grown men, adult men that have stood on this floor, and Master Wayne's other floors, and at testing have melted and left, or melted, and just, it's fear. There's some challenges with that. But Lexi, when we called her name, she got up here, and she started to melt. And I told Master Wayne, I said, so let me go talk to her. So I came over here next to Lexi, and I said, you got to do this. And he said, no. And I said, you got to do it. I said, I said, when you turn and you look at me, I'm going to be smiles. When you go like down blocking those, I'll be smiles. Didn't I tell you that? I said, your dad's going to be sitting there right there, and he's going to be smiling. He said, no. And I said, okay. I said, you can do this. I believe in you. I believe in what you're doing and what's inside of you. So listen, she stood on that X. And I sat back at the table, and Master Wayne goes, is she going to do it? I said, we're about to find out. That's what we talked about. Now listen, this is what happened. He said, Kia, go. And she sat there for about a half second, and then she did her form. She slayed her personal fear, or as we as adults call it, she slayed her dragon. She beat her fear. And that's perseverance. That's going above and beyond your fears, beyond your... And she did it. And you, my dear, are going to get a really cool trophy that says Lexi Burgess, Perseverance. Don't step on anybody, Larry. Don't step on anybody. Come on, Larry, quick. Listen, Larry's trophy is for self-control. And those who were testing heard some of the testimony about that Larry's come a long way in my class. And whenever he first came to class, you kind of look at people and you go, man, I don't know if they're going to make this. I really don't know. And then the more Larry comes to class, because Larry's in Grandma and Mom, he's like in every class now, isn't he? And he's like in every class. Doors open and Larry's there. And Larry has learned to control himself. He's learned the true essence of what self-control is. He learned to control his words. He's learned to control his actions. He's learned to control his mind. He's learned to control his body. Where Larry used to have some altercations before in maybe the neighborhood, he no longer does. When something happens, Larry comes and says, Mr. Jim, I've got a problem. Right away, he can take care of his problem right away. That's self-control. Not taking matters into his own hands, but letting somebody else help him out. And that's complete and total self-control. Larry, I'm very proud of you. Your trophy is going to say self-control, Larry Brooks, 2011. Awesome. No, well, then we'll wait till Mr. Eddie comes back in. Anyway, Eddie Richards is really, his trophy is for an indomitable spirit. And how many here know Mr. Eddie? If you know Mr. Eddie, raise your hand. You guys know Mr. Eddie. And I'm going to tell you something. Not only does Mr. Eddie run our children's church, so to speak, at church, but he picks up 3 out of the 5 days my after-school care kids. He comes and helps teach class. He's always over in the corner helping do homework. We usually have 3 instructors or 4 instructors with kids after school care, helping them make sure their homework is done right. He's going from table to table helping kids along with the rest of us. He stays for class, he comes back, and if you guys don't know my dojon, we have about 400 chairs we have to put up at the end of each of our classes right now, or at the end of our class a couple times a week. And Mr. Eddie comes and does that. and he's always got a smile on his face. You're never going to find this man with a frown. You're never going to find this man with, oh, if I got to do that again, what's up with that? No, he's there with a smile on his face, joy in his heart, and that is endowing his spirit. So I know he's not here, but he'll be in just a little so I go into
Okay, a couple quick announcements and then we'll give out the belts. First, demo team members, I'm trying really hard to find a gym for us to practice in.
Oh, May the 12th, I'm sorry, March the 12th, at the Imagine School, South Lake Charter Imagine School, we have that gymnasium. It is ours from 2 o'clock in the afternoon until the sun burns out, or 4:30.
So that means we're going to Claremont to practice on March the 12th. We're coming to you guys. Claremont, the March 12th, and that's, by the way, that's, for those of you from the Orlando Magic demo team and going to watch and all that, is our last group practice. The next weekend is the tournament, March 19th. The next weekend after that is spring break. The next week after that is the demo. So March 12th is it. I mean, we'll have some in-class work, one-on-one type stuff, but that's it. That's the last practice. So we really, really, really need you to get your uniform order in because, as with all things, wait till the last minute and things can happen and they don't get their uniforms. So please have those ordered by no later than, I guess, March 12th. Because I got to have at least a week or 2 weeks to get them in to make sure that in case there's a problem, you know, they kind of thing. So please get those ordered. All right, enough said about that. Now first, the belt ranking system real quick. We have a recommended, well actually a junior recommended and a decided rank. And you're going to hear me say words like this. If a belt has no stripe on it, it is a recommended rank. If a belt has a black stripe on it, it is a decided rank. So you start out, and every one of these belts has a number. If you're a white belt, you're the number 10. Okay, there's no recommended or decided in white belt. And then you would test, and you would go to this rank, which is a 9th recommended, and this is a 9th decided. And if you have an excellent, superb, outstanding, fantastic testing, you go from white to this. That's from white belt to 8th recommended, orange belt, this would be 8th decided, so on and so on. So this would be a 3-step jump. So you'll hear me, I hope, say something like this. So-and-so had a 2-step jump, which would be this, or a 3-step jump, which would be this, and even a 4-step jump is possible. Did you ever have a 5-step jump?
Never.
I think I've given 2, maybe. And Linda, who's the last person who 5-step jump? I know we've had them, but I don't remember who it was. But anyway, a 5-step jump. I think there's only been 2 since we've had testings like that. Okay. Next, that's the belt ranking system. Next, what does a belt mean? First of all, okay, what does a belt mean? I mean, if you really want a black belt, I mean, you guys really want a black belt, do this. Go to an online store online and just type in black belt and then type in your name and all that and pay them X amount of dollars or ship you one to your house. That's right. That's all you want. Right? It's black belt, right? Right, Miss Gonga? No? No? I'll tell you what this black. Well, first of all, I'll tell you what this belt means to me. This belt goes back to my very first class, January 3rd, 1971. That means this year on January 3rd, I celebrated 40 years. 40 years of martial arts. So I go all the way back, and I can remember, if I close my eyes and just think real hard, I go back to my very first lesson. I remember my instructor. My dad was there with me. I remember the building. I remember the weights. I remember everything about it. And then go from that point to this point, and so many memories. I just can't. It goes on and on and on. So all the tournaments and all the testings and all the students I've taught and the instructors that have taught me and so on, all live and breathe and exist in this belt. That's where they live. They live in this belt. So that's what my belt means to me. So I'll tell you what your belt means to you. What your belt means to you is no more or no less than what you think it means. That's all it means. So when I award you your belt, if this is your belt, this is the belt to award it to you. Inside of this belt is your opinion of yourself. That's what lives inside this belt. Your opinion of yourself. So, it's not about the color of the belt you get. It's not about the color of the belt you get. It's how you wear the one you got. So your object, your goal is if you are a white belt, then you just be the best white belt you can be. If you're a yellow belt, you be the best yellow belt you can be. If you're an orange belt, you be the best orange belt you can be. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's the whole idea of the belt ranking system. Is we want to take you from take you from white belt all the way up, hopefully to one of these. This is my dad's belt. My dad and I started, again, January 3rd, 1971. We had 29 years together. Him and I tested for blood. This is a very long story. But what it amounts to is, what this belt represents, not only my father, but it represents you guys. Because if it hadn't been for the love of my father and mother, to take me to, just like you guys did, take me to class, take me to tournaments, buy my uniform, testings and all that, then none of this would be possible, because that's really what life is all about anyway. I know you guys understand that. It's pay it forward, you know. There's no way for me to ever do enough to thank my parents. I mean, they're both in heaven, so there's nothing. The only earthly thing I can do is pay it forward, which is in turn what Mr. Shipley is doing, what Miss Kane is doing, and what you guys can do. And I need to emphasize this before we get to the belts, is that nobody gets the black belt by themselves. Nobody does that by themselves. Not only do you need instructors, you got to have a place to work out, but you got to have classmates. You got to have, so if you're an orange belt, you should make it your responsibility to help the yellow belts and the white belts. And if you're a purple belt, you should make it your responsibility to help the blue and the green and so on and so on and so on. So if I know like 1 steps 1 to 20 and you don't know 1 steps 1 to 20 and I see you struggling, I should help you, because that's what it's all about. All right, so when you get this, when you're eventually awarded a black belt one day, you're not going to get it because of what you did. You're going to get it because of what everybody did. So don't forget that. That's a real important lesson. And trust me when I tell you, it does not escape me or Mr. Shipley or Ms. Kane or any of the instructors or staff, Ms. Carson, Ms. Linda, for a moment. We know how much you guys sacrificed to make this possible. And it is a blessing. It's a gift to me beyond, I don't know how to say thank you well enough, because when I was a little boy and I was 12 years old, and I had my first lesson, and I looked at my instructor and said, that's what I'm going to do. That is what I'm going to do. Just like that. Just like that. And here I am. So the point what I'm trying to make is, what I'm really trying to say, is that nobody walked in that door by accident. Nobody came to Mr. Shipley by accident. Nobody puts his uniform on by accident, and nobody tested by accident. You guys were meant to be there. You were supposed to be there Saturday or early testing. You were supposed to be out on that floor, and you were supposed to do what you did. Because there was something in martial arts that you need, that you're getting right now. And that's what personal growth is all about. I know you guys understand that, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can. Let's say about that. You're going to call your name up. You're going to say, here, sir. You're going to run very excitingly, because this is an exciting thing. You're going to stand right here. Notice the camera right there. So when you come and stand, if you stand like this, all we're going to get is your back. So what I want you to do is stand like this. Stand like this. And if I mispronounce your name, I'm sorry. I'm so good at that sometimes. But I want you to stand right. Okay? All right, here we go. And, oh, sorry. One more thing. I apologize. Once I give your belt, I'm going to give your belt. I'm going to shake your hand. Okay? You're going to go over there. You're going to get your packet. Oh, I didn't talk about the packet. Packet from Miss Linda. You're going to shake Mr. Shipley's hand. Inside your packet. Inside your packet. This is not the Sunday paper, okay? You don't get this, pull out the sports section, throw the rest away, or the whatever it is that you pull out the Sunday paper. Please read everything that's in here, including guest passes for your friends, martial arts. There's a form in here to fill out to get a DVD. There's no cost. You give as part of your testing packet. Some stuff about our summer camp. This how we rate ourselves. This I like to think that we're perfect. I know we're making mistakes. I can't think of any offhand, but I know we're going to be making a few. So what I want you to do, fill this out honestly, turn it in, because we can't address a problem unless we know it exists. And you get a certificate with your name on it, some other stuff. Anyway, make sure, please read this. You know, don't line your birdcage with it. Put it out, read it, and then there's cool stuff in here. All right, that's it. Now we can get done. And I don't know how we got this. Our yellow belts are that, but we got that. So whoever gets this, you're going to get the only bright canary yellow belt ever given out, ever. So this is pretty special, I guess. This would be like this is the first time, right? This is a canary yellow belt. All right, Lexi Vargas, come on up. And Michael Andrusko. You can put these belts on. Never say, well, I've got my belt. When can I put it on? When can I put it on? You can put it on whenever you want. You know, now, later, doesn't matter. But you notice they got paper. Whoa, they got paper here and sometimes a little rubber band. Please don't leave it on the ground or the trash can. But I'm very proud of these two students. They are now 9th recommended yellow belts. Give them a big round of applause. It's Zachary Henson! All these students quit tonight decided to whoa, give them up. Give them a big round of applause! Give them a cheer! You rock! Are there any white belts tested that I did not give their results? Any white belts?
I'll give you some.
Miss Kirsten,
Sir,
are we missing a belt? Wait,
you know, it was crazy in there.
Wait a minute, check in there. Wait a minute, come on out. Check in there and see if he gets a packet. Does he have a packet?
What's his last name?
Sokowski. Sokowski.
That's not like Mike Sokowski.
All right, wait, okay. Like this. Like this. Those, so, he's got one? Wait a minute. Okay, let me see. Oh, all right, well, all right. Those of you, a lot of our evening students won't recognize Aaron because he's a morning student. We have a class here from 11 to 12 Tuesday and Thursday morning. Aaron came to me, I don't know, 6 months ago, 5 months ago? 5 months ago, and one of Aaron's personal life goals was to change the way he was living, you know, change the way he was eating, get on an exercise program, and wisely decided that martial arts was going to be his part of his physical fitness program. And I got to admit, I mean, Mr. Shipley, we're selling a lot. I have to admit, Aaron kind of hits the ground running. You know, it's one of the best, and this is, I'm giving you a hint. When you walk in that door, when you guys come to your school and you walk in that door, Aaron is hitting the ground running. He's got his uniform on, he is stretching before class, and he's already worked up a sweat before we even get out, before we even start doing our balance. So it's a good role model. And Aaron, I apologize for the bell. I'm cursing, huh? So I guess I just got a warning. A 3-step jump, second recommended orange belt! I love doing that. I love doing that. Santa Pickens! Lucio! Lucio, you here? Right there, Lucio. Bella Perez! Bella! And Nathan Gonzalez! All these students had a fantastic testing. 8th decided orange belt. Give them a big round of applause. attested that I did not receive, I did not, make sure I didn't miss anything. No yellow. No? All right, let's make it no, we'll get you one. Don't worry, we'll get it for you later. We'll get it for you. Don't worry. It's Miss, we'll get her one.
We missed her certificate?
All right, it's my fault. It's not, I'm sorry.
I know, but she's still on the list.
Okay. Chance Pike! Yes, sir. Jamie Pike! Yeah. This is my favorite thing to do in martial arts because I'm real close to this. This is touch dear to my heart. I'm real close to this. You guys, how old are you, JJ? How old are you?
7.
You're 7 years old? 7 years old. Now, I know you know, okay? But you just remember that you heard this from Master Will, okay? The rest of your life, one day you're going to be standing in a room full of people, and you're going to tell them how wonderful it was that you got to do something really cool together. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah? I know you don't. Okay, but my dad isn't here, and I can't tell him, but I can tell you that you are doing the best thing for your son that a man can ever do. All right. You're going to have something I don't have. You got it. 7 recommended green belts. Give them a big round. Parker Anthony! I'm real proud. I'm really proud of Parker. Kelly decided Kelly Greenbelt. What I like best about Parker is where's your mom and dad? There's mom and dad. There's your mom and dad. Is that I don't know what you guys do at home with your boys. I don't know if you like beat them every day with a stick or something. Is that what you do? But both him and Mason have the best attitudes of any students I've ever had. He's always respectful. He always tries. He always gives 100% effort. And I should give you guys some kind of outstanding parent award because whatever you're doing a great job. I almost feel bad. Like you're too good in class. It's like I don't put out enough effort. You know, usually I got to push sometimes, but not with these guys at all. So I'm real happy with Parker. He is now a number 7 decided green. Give him a big round of applause. And more energy. Now, I know this belt was kind of funky, and that's because it is. For some unknown reason, I got belts with a white stripe instead of a black stripe. No worries though. So instead of not giving you a belt, which is kind of uncool because you like to have a belt, I'm going to go ahead and award these belts, and when the correct belts with black stripe come in, you'll just swap out this belt for that belt. So no, this is in no way, shape, or form. This is supposed to be black. So now you got to use your imagination, okay? This is black. That's black. So here we go. JT Kelly! Caitlin Stanley! Sluggy's here? Sluggy's here? No. Eddie Richards! Mason Anthony! And Daniel Rosenblum! Okay, doing something good in the green belt division. The higher you get in belt rank, the harder this is to do. And all of these green belts went to six decided dark green belt, but I would also like to mention that Katie is a recommended green belt, so there's no black stripe on that, which means Katie actually had a 3-step jump. She went from a recommended 7th to a decided dark green, which is a 3-step jump. And you last time you had 3 steps. Give them a big round of applause. Are there any Kelly green belts or under that tested and not received the results? Did I miss anybody? Kelly green and under. No. Okay. Here. Amanda Kurzban! Big low! Well, first they both got decided, that's excellent. But purple belt is kind of a special rank. It's kind of like you're leaving martial arts kind of childhood and entering martial arts teenagehood. And this is, purple belt is halfway. The black belt, this is halfway. You've gone halfway. So what this means is not only do they get the purple belt, but they're also going to get a black top. So not this, but a black top like Mr. Shipley's, because when you go to black belt here, your uniform, or first decided black belt, your uniform goes to all black. So that black top signifies halfway, because now you're half white pants and black top. You guys will get that later, but for now, they are both fourth decided purple belts. Give them another round of applause! Anthony DeSalvo. Anthony is the best product that Family Martial Arts Center can produce. Is Anthony actually achieved Little Ninja Black Belt? And that picture up there on the wall, at that testing is when Anthony, up in there, you can see me in front of me, tested and got his Little Ninja Black Belt. And then started over in traditional curriculum and is now working his way to Taekwondo traditional black belt. That means when he gets his first decided black belts, he will actually have 2 black belts. Wow. So yeah, wow is right. Wow is right. So you started, how old are you now, Anthony? He's 8. How old were you when you started? He's like this tall when he started. So I'm very, very proud of Anthony. And those of you that have gotten brown belt before, what does this mean Anthony's going to do his next testing? Board ranking, that's right. No problem for this guy. Give him a big round of applause. Max Porter. And Ryan Murphy. Well, now you guys have already figured out the test is getting hard. I mean, you've already figured it out. So now they're a second decided red belt. The next black belt they test for is red black. The next one is black, just 2 away. So what that means is you kind of coast, you don't work out as long. And this is no small achievement for anybody at any age. And I'm very proud. I'm very proud of both Max and Ryan. And Ryan, how long has he been a student?
He started when he was 6.
Ryan started when he was 6?
Yes, 6 years.
6 or 7 years. So Ryan has a lot of other stuff in his life besides martial arts, obviously. But really, what that tells me is this guy just won't give up. Isn't that the quality that we need? That's what we need. That's what we need. So I'm real proud of them both. They're now second decided red belts. Give them a big round of applause. Keep going, Ryan. Max, oh, almost forgot. Sorry. My bad. Notice Max is a recommended brown belt. There's no black stripe on his belt. So what that means is Max had a 3-step jump. And how are you going, Mark? Any brown belts in down? Yeah. Brown belts in down? No. Okay. didn't see her come in. I was just asking just in case she's like, no. Isabella here? Come on up. Give me a Isabella is a member of our after-school. Where's your parents? Oh, okay. Isabella is a member of our after-school program. Has been a member of our after-school program for 3 years, I think. 3 years. And she also comes to our summer camp program. So I know Isabella really well, and now I'm getting to know her little sister Gabriella really well. But the one, and I sometimes I think I've seen everything as an instructor. I mean, I've seen a lot as an instructor, and I've got to tell you, Isabella has, how can I say this? Isabella is very fashion conscious. Isn't that a fair statement? So when Isabella comes to after school program, she's got a very extensive Vogue-esque wardrobe, and so does Gabriella. I'm like, what? And she's a beautiful girl. I mean, so now she comes and she's got these like really cool boots and outfits, and then when she's doing, and after our program's over, she does artwork, and she's very. You're the most girl I've ever known. Which is a compliment now. I'm giving her a compliment. That is a compliment. And Isabella has been a student here a long time, and she's been kicking and punching and free sparring. When Isabella has been free sparring the last 3 years, she cried every match almost. I mean, and she'd come out, she'd cry, and she'd cry. I felt so sorry for her, but you got to be a black belt, you got to learn how to defend yourself. And she would cry, Master Wayne, I hate sparring. Master Wayne, I hate sparring. And then she got the board break. Master Wayne, I hate board break. I hate board break. I said, Isabella, you can do it. You've been training for 3 and 4 years. And I sat at this table on Saturday, and it was like she was channeling Bruce Lee. She had this real, serious look on her face. And you know what I'm saying is true. You saw it too, didn't you? And her just like, pow, like that in her forehead. And board breaking, boom! And she got it sparring. This is the part I like best. She got the sparring. She's like, all right, come on. I'm like, I turned to Mr. Lewis. I said, is that Isabella? Is that Isabella? Mr. Lewis, I don't know who that is. And then, I don't have. She tested for first. This is first decided red black. There's no recommender decided this right. There's no. I don't have any, and you can't pass this. In other words, it doesn't matter how good you do at testing. This is the rank you have to get before first recommended black belt. Because when you get to black belt, we're going to slow you down. Because anybody can have good testing once. But we're going to make sure that not only is this a good testing, but your first recommended your first recommended this testing is a good testing, and then you test again as a first recommended for first decided. So in essence, you've got to have 3 outstanding testings in a row. And if you do that in our school, you earned it. I mean, who's a Bible, right? You earned it. And I don't care how much I like you. And I dearly love Isabella. I mean, I don't care how much I like you. You don't cut it out on the floor. You've got to wait till next testing, right? And work harder. So, I don't know what else to say except it makes me very happy to award Isabella first decided red black belt. Give her a big round of applause! By the way, if you have any trouble matching outfits, you just get it like that. She'll tell you how to make this. I can't see. I just wear black all day. I wear this, so I don't have to match anything. I get up, I just put this on. The rest of the time, you look at my closet, black, blue. Yes.
Yes, pink sparring.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, would you expect otherwise? If I could have found some with glitters and lights on them, I'd get those for too. All right, you can bedazzle it. Oh wait, I'm going in a weird place. Okay. Monique